I am literally shaking with rage right now, and I know I cannot be the only one. Let us just pause for a second and really, truly digest the absolute audacity of Bill Hamilton. Why on earth is Bill running over to find Dani in the very house that she shares with her husband, Andre? What is wrong with this man? If Bill had run over there because he was genuinely worried about Naomi's health situation, maybe, just maybe, we could temporarily accept his presence. But let us be completely real here. If he was actually acting out of fatherly concern, he should be looking for Naomi, not her mother. The fact that he bypassed his own daughter to corner his ex-wife in her own home speaks volumes about his true, disgusting intentions. If Bill went looking for Dani just to tease her, to torment her, or because he wants something else from her, then he is truly, undeniably despicable. This man has always found a way to hurt Dani, and he is still clinging to her, refusing to let her go even now. He is like a toxic shadow that she just cannot shake off. Bill has effectively turned Dani into a despicable person just like him, dragging her down into the mud of infidelity, and you can see that Dani is being absolutely tormented by that fact. She is drowning in guilt, and Bill is standing on the shore, laughing at her struggle. Dani is trying so incredibly hard to deny the fact that she has any lingering feelings for Bill. She is pushing back, she is deflecting, but the more she tries to avoid him, the closer he steps in. It is textbook psychological warfare. Bill is clearly exploiting Dani's emotions to manipulate her. I am so incredibly disgusted by Dani's lawyer ex-husband right now. He is manipulating Dani's fragile psychological state and taking full advantage of her moment of weakness to continue this sick, twisted affair. He knows exactly what buttons to push, and he is pushing all of them with zero remorse. At first, I honestly thought Bill was just using the secret of their elevator hookup to tease Dani, to hold it over her head as some kind of sick power play. But after seeing what just happened in this episode, I think it is so much worse than that. He is actively seducing Dani to continue the affair. He wants to make it a regular thing. Bill is clearly showing his true promiscuous, womanizing nature, and I am begging the soap opera gods right now, please do not let me see Dani sitting on his bed. This is absolute madness. My imagination is flying up to the sky right now, picturing the absolute worst case scenarios. I am literally picturing Bill unbuttoning his shirt while Dani sits on his bed, and it makes me want to scream. Someone please slap me to wake me up from these crazy, delusional thoughts. No. Dani cannot possibly repeat this horrible mistake with such a terrible, toxic man. I feel like even I am being psychologically manipulated by Bill's crazy theories just by watching through the screen. So I cannot even imagine what it is like for an insider like Dani who is actually living this nightmare. Dani's mind is a complete and utter mess right now. You could see the sheer, unadulterated panic in her eyes. She was truly panicking because of Bill's presence in her sanctuary. He invaded her safe space. And the suspense was literally killing me because all I could think was, what if Andre comes home? What if Andre walks through that front door right at this exact second? The story of their secret would be heard by someone else, and the fallout would be catastrophic. Dani cannot even begin to fathom what would happen if she were caught red-handed. It is completely beyond imagination. The destruction of her beautiful marriage to Andre would be absolute, and Bill would just stand there and watch it burn. Let us break down that confrontation scene because it was a masterclass in toxic manipulation. Dani is standing there screaming that she is happily married to Andre, trying to manifest the truth into existence, trying to build a verbal wall between her and her toxic. But what does Bill do? He does not back down. He steps closer. He looks her dead in the eye and asks, "Are you sure about that?" The nerve, the absolute unmitigated nerve of this man. He refuses to let her hide behind her. He tells her that he knows exactly what she wants in bed, completely stripping away her defenses and reducing her to this vulnerable, panicked state. And then he grabs her. He holds her tight, completely violating her personal space, and asks her why her heart is pounding so fast. Is anyone else screaming at their screen? He's weaponizing her own physiological reactions against her. He is twisting her panic, her fear, and her adrenaline, and he is trying to gaslight her into believing that it is pure desire. He tells her they went through the tornado together, that they share this bond, and he actually has the audacity to say he wants to make love to her again and call her his. I was throwing things at my television. Dani manages to regain a shred of composure and calls him gross and sick, which he absolutely is, but you can see that her armor is cracking. She is fighting for her life against this master manipulator. Thank the heavens above that Nicole arrived when she did. Nicole Dupree is officially the MVP of this episode. She walked in right before everything pushed Dani to the point of losing complete control. If Nicole had been even 2 minutes later, I am terrified to think of what Bill might have coerced Dani into doing. Bill was forced to leave, but the emotional residue on his face, that smug, knowing look, was enough to make my blood boil. But here is where the dramatic irony reaches a peak. Nicole sees the raw emotion, the flushed faces, the sheer panic, and she completely misinterprets the situation. Because of the tension in the room, Nicole assumes that they were just facing Naomi's massive health problem together as parents. Oh, Nicole, if you only knew. Dani almost fainted on the spot because she thought she was. You could see the color completely drain from her face. The sheer terror of thinking her sister had just walked in on her being seduced by her toxic ex-husband was enough to send her into cardiac arrest. But then the relief washes over her when she realizes Nicole is talking about Naomi. However, that relief is incredibly short-lived because Dani immediately has to face the next piece of devastating news that Nicole brings. Dani is hit with a massive emotional truck when Nicole reveals the truth. Dani simply cannot believe that Naomi is actually considering a double mastectomy. When Nicole drops that bomb, Dani screams, "No!" at the top of her lungs. That scream was so visceral, so raw, and so deeply heartbreaking. But let us analyze that reaction first. Is Dani just screaming out of fear for her daughter's physical pain? Or is she screaming because Naomi's brave, proactive choice is forcing Dani to look in the mirror at her own denial? Dani also carries the BRCA gene. Dani has been completely burying her head in the sand, refusing to acknowledge her own risks, refusing to even look at Andre's photography project about mastectomy survivors. Naomi is facing her reality head on, and Dani is terrified of that reality. Nicole has to tell her not to dismiss Naomi's judgment just because of fear. Nicole is being the rational, supportive sister, while Dani is completely spiraling out of control. So now I am left with so many burning questions that are going to keep me up at night. Will Dani finally break down and admit what happened with Bill to Nicole? Will the weight of this toxic, disgusting secret finally become too much for her to bear? Nicole is right there. She is a safe space. Dani desperately needs someone to confide in, someone to help pull her out of Bill's manipulative gravity. But I am so scared she is going to keep it bottled up. Are we going to have to watch Dani wrestle with these massive, life-ruining troubles all by herself? If Dani tries to handle Bill alone, she is going to lose. Bill is too cunning, too relentless, and too deeply embedded in her psyche. He knows all her weak spots. He knows exactly how to make her question her own sanity and her own happiness with Andre. Dani needs an ally, and she needs to come clean before Bill uses this secret to completely detonate her life. I am so incredibly stressed out by this entire storyline, guys. I love Dani and Andre together. They are the healthy, loving relationship that Dani has always deserved. And to see Bill Hamilton slithering back into her life like a snake, trying to poison her happiness just because he is miserable in his own marriage to Haley, is infuriating. Bill does not love Dani. He loves controlling Dani. He loves knowing that he can still affect her. It is an ego trip for him. And Dani is the collateral damage. I need to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you as disgusted with Bill as I am? Do you think Dani is going to fall back into his trap, or will she find the strength to push him away for good? And what about Naomi's heartbreaking decision? How is the family going to handle this? Sound off in the comments, let out all your anger, and let's discuss this absolute madness